so we want to make sure that that part, I think, is typically confusing. And I know Fredo talked about, you know, his group is $2 million on up, and I heard a few people go falling like $2 million. You know, I wish $2 million, but I want to make sure you understand why is he up there running a small business, and that's wise because we really feel to shepherd our customers and give them that kind of that world-class customer experience. You need a relationship manager to do that, and so that's why that we have that group here. They bring almost all of our SBA stuff through. Now, Eli, through our stores, we have an SBA Express. You know, you want to hit a little bit about kind of if they came into our stores, you know, that product.
Yeah, sure. So if anyone came into one of our store locations, we have, you know, probably 7 or 8 different business credit solutions, and one of those, as an example, to Sean's point, is a SBA Advantage line of credit. So in the spirit of SBA, and it is a guaranteed SBA product, it is something that maybe a business owner that in our typical criteria would require a longer time of business, which is a standard for us. Typically, our unsecured lines of credit start at 4 years in business. That's a typical minimum qualification. The SBA line is 2 years in business. So for those that are in a high growth cycle, maybe in the second or third year of their business, that SBA Advantage line would be a great solution, whereas our traditional lines may not be something that we can fit from a risk standpoint. And really, to Terry's earlier point, that SBA guarantee gives the banks more confidence because of that guarantee that we can make more loans in that space. That's, I think, one of the tenets of why we have the SBA, which is so great about it.
All right. How does Wells Fargo define small business? I probably take that one, even though I'm not officially on the panel. Our definition of small business is anywhere from annual revenue of 0 to $2 million. $2 million on up, and we go to what we call our business banking group. And then commercial gets up to $25 million or more. So that's how we segment. Every bank is going to do it a little bit differently. So that's how we would define a small business in Wells Fargo.
How about time of business? So they may have 1 billion, but what if they're 6 months old? 12 months?
Time in business, I think that time in business, it does not matter at all. Obviously, it matters when it comes to certain credit decisions we may make, depending on the size. But it's more about the experience and the revenue that is being done. One of the things that we try to do is make you not have to worry about all that stuff. It's our focus and the strategy that we are implementing and we started this year. It's really to say, you know, we want you to come into our stores, and when you find that business specialist we have in just about every one of our stores, they are going to be your entry point into whatever it is that you're going to need to do. And so if you come in and you end up, whatever your needs are, after we do a really thorough business needs assessment, and we find out exactly, you know, how much are you doing, what are you looking for, what is, you know, we're going to have some business specialists in our breakout group. Right after this, we're going to be here to get into a little bit more detail about what Wells Fargo does. And we have some of our business specialists here in the room. They'll be able to say, you know, based on this, here's the team that I work with, and I'm going to bring in these team members. And so it shouldn't matter to you. If you come into our store, you should be able to have them navigate that for you.
Hey, Sean, I have a question that you expound a little bit. Terry, what is the SBA's definition of small business versus a micro enterprise?
Well, we don't have an official definition for micro enterprise. The short layperson's answer is generally a business with fewer than 500 employees. When we start talking about specific SBA programs, then there are specific definitions, a lot of times based on around the industry that business is in. The criteria could be either average number of employees over a 12-month period or average revenues for the past 3 years, fiscal years. And each industry designation would have a standard based on one of those 2 things. But the short answer, under 500 employees.
All right. Carrie, we're going to stick with you.
Okay.
Is the SBA still offering the mentoring of small-sized businesses? This was a grant provided to selected SBAs about 2 to 3 years ago. So I believe the question is around mentorship. So is there a program that the SBA runs around mentorship? And if I didn't get that right, let me know.
A grant, I don't really have a grant around that. There's several things that can fall around the whole issue of mentoring. We have, for the past few years, had a program called the Emerging 200, or E200 as we call it, for businesses that have been in existence for at least 3 years. They have revenues approximately a minimum of I believe it's 3 to 4 million. And the idea is these are businesses that have already started up and they're needing additional mentoring and coaching to kind of help them get to that next level and add capacity. Another area where you could say there is mentorship is through SCORE, which is our volunteer partner arm. A lot of times people think of them as strictly providing one-time, I have a specific problem, just an answer, and there's no relationship. But a lot of clients will come back and establish a rapport with a counselor, and that would actually act as a mentorship. I think the same thing too also exists with our small business development centers. Many small businesses, as their needs change, will continue to go back to a specific counselor or a specific center to receive advice on how to handle those new challenges.
This concludes part 4.